Northampton actually, as a community, developed a certain tolerance. Now, tolerance is a word that makes me crazy because it usually means someone's holding their nose and enduring something. And I think to some level, for some people, that's true. But then there's tolerance, but more importantly, there was acceptance, which is different. And that happened also historically when you saw the rise of a lesbian community, principally a lesbian community, although the gay community, the LGBTQ community is very strong here. But it was lesbians at the time who had a profound, and still do have a profound influence on Northampton's cultural and sense of self. But all of that echoes and rhymes historically with outsiders, groups who felt ostracized or isolated in the communities that they were being raised in, coming to a place where they could feel comfortable and feel and function and behave as human beings, as opposed to a diagnosis or as opposed to a cultural assignment, but to be as humans. And by and large, I think Northampton does a better job than most communities at that.
There are those who think we're wicked. There are those who call us names. Depraved, lost and sick, and we'd rather bathe us in shame. But we put the sin in sincere. We put the do in the doubt. God is perfectly clear. We are perfectly out. Love us as we are. See us and we're holy. In this shall ever be holy ourselves. Your love will take us far. Praise us and we'll show you from heaven to the glory holes, glorious and free.
Mr. Mayor, just what opportunities are there for one in Northampton? Northampton is a beautiful city. Population 25,000. The best of everything. School. The greatest college in the world for women, Smith College, with over 2,000 students. Good roads, sidewalks, bridges, public buildings, and so forth.
Amherst and Northampton were unusual for towns of this size and having a pretty vibrant scene and shows at local Grange halls and here and there. I mean, even out on the town green. That's I think the only time I ever saw Jay's old band play. It was like literally out in, right across from the bank. And it was small, like I think most places were, but it was also a regional draw. So they were kind of larger shows at UMass. I have a nice scar above my eye from a Black Flag show over there in 1984. Hampshire had some shows. Hampshire College at the Red Barn. There was a couple of folks there, and then there were a number of people who came from other scenes who wound up here.
There was a lot of New York influence. People would come up from New York, and whether it was jazz or blues, and kind of get involved with the music scene in Northampton. And I think there's a lot of outside influence, but this was ripe to accept that and embrace it. And no matter what kind of music you wanted to listen to, there was something here.
Not until we talk about this.
Talk about what?
Why weren't you at school?
It was senior skip day, Dad. Everybody was skipping.
In March?
What?
Senior skip day?
Yes, Dad, in March, okay? You need to mind your own business, all right?
You are my business.
Yeah, I know I'm supposed to be there, but I have my own life too, okay, Dad?
I'm sure you do.
Well, maybe you need to get your own life so you stop worrying about mine.
I always worry about your life.
I don't need anything from you, okay, Dad? So screw you.
Excuse me? Maureen, will you please come out here?
Not now.
We have to talk about this.
Go away.
they didn't say. What's your name? All right, come on, Buddha.
Bring me sunshine in your smile. Bring me laughter all the while. In this world where we live, there should be more happiness. All the joy you can give to each brand new bright tomorrow. Make me happy.
Hi, my name is Elena Fragamini. I'm reporting for the Transcript. I'm here at First Churches in Northampton at a Jill Stein event. So do you support Jill Stein?
For president? No, I do not.
Why?
I organize for Bernie Sanders during the primary, and I believe in Bernie's message, and I think that, at the end of the day, either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton are going to become the next president.
Were you a Bernie Sanders supporter before
Yes,
that?
absolutely. I was a Bernie Sanders supporter with the realization that eventually Bernie was going to lose and that Jill would be the logical leap for most Bernie supporters. It stuns me that anyone would make the leap from Bernie to Hillary, which is like the Grand Canyon, when the leap from Bernie to Jill is like a crack in the sidewalk. It makes no sense to me, but people are fearful of.
In terms of me, myself, it's like American democracy and the country of America was not created to be run by businessmen. It was not created to be run by experts. We were created to be a democracy, everyday people. The experience I do not have to bring to office is the experience of taking money from big, powerful special interests and then delivering for them while in office. My experience is actually working with the people of the Massachusetts and the people of the country to do the things that we as citizens have been working to do, to get money out of politics. We passed public financing here in Massachusetts. It was repealed by the Democratic legislature, but we the people passed it. We cleaned up our coal plants. We shut down some of our polluting incinerators, and we created a more racially just system of representation in the legislature. So we can get stuff done when it's we the people without the lobbyists and the machine politics. This is the kind of solution that the American people are actually clamoring for.
garden that blooms and never will. In our town, in our town. the driver of the bus. The bus that run over both of us. In our town, in our town. Next time you're climbing in that cardboard box, and you're cold and you're hungry and you got no socks. See the trains that dash and the ships that sail past, they will take you to our town, where you can settle on down, count your sheep in your sleep, all tucked in with a country quilt, garden that blooms and never will, where your policemen are made from peanut butter, and things make you think but never leave you bothered. 'Cause your hopes and dreams become careless wishes. 'Cause you are the happiest person on this planet. The happiest person. Happiest person on this planet. In our town.
Scientists have invented something called solar panels, or photovoltaic cells. Photovoltaics generate electricity when exposed to light. Many people have solar panels and know that they are good for the environment, but do people really know how they work? We took it to the street to find out.
Do you happen to know what this is?
I don't know that I do.
No.
No. Thank you so much.
No.
I don't. I do not.
What shape it is?
A microphone. No, this. It looks like some sort of circuit board or a memory chip.
That is a solar panel.
Very good.
It's a solar panel.
That looks like a solar wafer.
Well, it looks to be a piece of a photovoltaic panel. Am I close?
Do you know how solar panels work?
The sun, yeah. No.
Not really.
A very rudimentary understanding of how solar panels work. But
Could you try to explain?
You want me to? Put me on the spot.
Vaguely. They convert the energy of the sun into electricity, I hope.
The sun shines on the solar wafer, and there's a chemical reaction with the silicone inside the wafer. That there's an electron transfer that goes into some wires to be able to feed our electricity system.
Okay, so the Massachusetts Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs knows how photovoltaics work, but we think that you should too. To better understand how PV works, we have to break down the panel into its separate parts. Solar panels have three main parts. The top is a layer of non-reflective glass, which not only protects the panel, but also prevents the light that is reflected off of the PV cell from escaping. The bottom is just the base. The middle layer is the really important one. The middle has two layers of silicon in it, but it is the interaction between these two layers that allow for the photovoltaic effect to take place. This is silicon. It has 14 protons, 14 neutrons, and 14 electrons, with 4 electrons in its outer shell. But the silicon atoms in solar panels have been modified. This silicon is infused or doped with a small amount of another element. This element makes the silicon either more likely to need an electron or have an electron to share. The bottom layer of silicon is typically infused with boron. The outer electron shell of boron has 3 electrons, which is 1 fewer than silicon. This leaves the bottom layer of silicon with a slight positive charge and needing an extra electron in its outer shell. This is called p-type silicon because of the positive charge.
Meanwhile, the top layer is infused with phosphorus. The outer electron shell of phosphorus has 5 electrons, which is one more than silicon. This leaves the top layer with a slight negative charge and needing to give away an extra electron. This is called N-type silicon because of the negative charge. But how do these electrons get freed up? Thankfully, photons from the sun come to the rescue.
When photons from the sun hit the silicon in the solar panel, it knocks loose the extra electrons from the N-type silicon. These electrons travel toward the P-type silicon. This forms an electric current, which is picked up and carried away by a copper wire running between the PV cells.
I was caught up in the moment when I swear that I had blown it, and I really think it's gonna snow. If you will remember that my hits up in September and I never let it go below. I could sit here eating peaches on 1,000 dirty beaches, but I really wish the wind would blow. I've been stuck out on an island where the water is so high, and I just don't know where the hell to go. Well, I could never stop myself from having fun, still I can't help but to feel guilty. Looking for favors when there's nothing left to solve, but I don't care if it doesn't show. Hey, we can do it if you still have any magic left in that paper bag. Creating memories from nothing at all. We can make up for it as we go. I was high up on the mountain fishing in a water fountain, but I guess I'm making too much noise. I'm using all my power in my casual attire. Yes, I treat them like a bunch of toys. So you think you're high and mighty when I asked if you're alright, you put your hands up and you said so. Well, I don't like to say this often, but you're squatting in a coffin